Hey, Ross.
How are you faring in life?
I am faring really well. It's nice to be with you.
Great. Are you ready to know everything?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's do it. Today, I am going to tell you a theory I have.
I'm intrigued.
It's a theory about people.
Great. I know several people. This will be useful.
Well, my theory is that people are like book characters.
Okay. People are like book characters. Tell me more.
Well, why I say that is because if you open a book to the beginning, you have no perspective or a completely different perspective from you do in the end. Either you think the character's kind of weird, or you're confused, or you just don't know anything about the character.
They're strangers.
Yeah. And then, by the end of the book, you know them so well. They're like your friends. And you think, at the beginning of the book, how they were complete strangers. I think how crazy that is. And I think people are like that too. When I first started Miss Wright's class, I didn't know her. I had a completely blank perspective. I didn't know anything about her. And she's such a great teacher, and now I know so much about her. And I think back to the beginning of the year, and I think, how could I have not known all this about her? How could I have been a complete stranger?
It's like every day in school together, it's like turning the page of a book and getting to know a little bit more about her until she was a character you were invested in and even felt like a close friend.
Exactly. Even Sylvie, my best friend, when she first moved here, I didn't know anything about her. She was a complete stranger.
It's kind of a funny way to think that someone from across the street, someone in a car, someone even in an airplane way above that you can't see, they've got a whole story that you don't know. And if you meet them, though, you have the chance to kind of read the book of their life and become a part of it.
Yeah.
What are some of the things you learned about Miss Wright over the course of the year, like reading a book?
Well, I know now that Miss Wright loves to act, and she loves to sing, and she loves to dance. Those are her passions. And she uses them a lot in class, too.
That's fun. So, like, being in her class is like watching a play every day?
Yes, it is. And I didn't know that at the beginning, because she was a complete stranger to me. And that really affects a lot of her classes. An example is Miss Wright does different accents sometimes when she's teaching. Like we have a thing called Math Monsters. Or we used to. We just finished. And we would determine whether a monster was prime or composite. Or also even or odd. And if it was even, she'd have an accent for it. And if it was odd, she'd have an accent for it. If it was even, she had kind of a British accent, almost very proper even. And if it was odd, she had kind of a cowboy ranch accent.
Cool. That probably helped you remember the numbers a lot better. She made even the numbers come to life as characters.
Yep. And we get to draw them as little monsters.
I know you love people, and I know you love stories. What do you like better, getting to know people or getting to read the end of a book?
As much as I love books, I'd rather have people. Are you ready for today's poem?
Yeah, what is it?
It's called New York Tulips by Eileen Myles. Then a group of you sing in the park around a stupid old historical statue. Some tulips are completely red. Some are terribly yellow. Then the others, shaded by both, maybe less clearly this or that, but the mixed tulips I love for their compassion. They soften the blows of this and that. I find them very beautiful. What did you think of that poem? Do you want to read it?
Love to. New York Tulips by Eileen Myles. Then a group of you, found singing in a park around a stupid old historical statue. Some tulips are completely red, and some are terribly yellow. Then the others shaded by both, maybe less clearly this or that. But the mixed tulips, I love for their compassion. They soften the blows of this and that. I find them very beautiful.
I like that poem. What did you think of it?
I like it too. I mean, I love it now because all the tulips are coming up. Spring, that's great.
Yes.
And it's just interesting to think about what makes a tulip completely red or terribly yellow or compassionate, as she claims about the mix. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's really cool. And I think what is specifically this or that, or what is not quite sure, may vary on the person's perspective.
Why does she say mixed tulips are compassionate?
Well, there's lots of reasons she could say that. But the one I think it is maybe because their colors are so bright, just perfect in the light. Or maybe it's because they're so beautiful, just there.
I think that mixed tulips are the ones that aren't totally red. They're not totally yellow. So they're not as bright. And she says they soften the blows of this and that. And just sometimes when life's feeling intense, even just a solid color can seem intense. A stop sign can seem intense. A green grass or a blue sky can seem intense. And something that mixes a little of this, a little of that, can just kind of feel more mellow, like a little milk in your tea. Just something that makes it a little softer, a little smoother. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting idea, and I agree with you. It just feels calming somehow. Just that colors mixed together. Not blaring red. Not glaring yellow. Just in between. Last segment of the show. Do you have a vexing question for me?
I do, and it's perfect because it was submitted by Miss Wright. She wanted me to ask you, Rasa, why does pepper make you sneeze?
Huh. Wow, that's a great question. I mean, it is a weird reaction. I have some theories, but I'm going to look up more, dig deep into the stacks, and find out the answer. Okay, I'm back, and I have the answer to the question. Pepper has something in it called piperine that acts as an irritant to the nose. So, the nose wants to kick that thing out. To kick it out, you sneeze.
Interesting. I guess it's probably the most common spicy thing we deal with on a regular basis. Now, some people even use this for self-defense too, right? Here in Montana, we have pepper spray, not just regarding it's people that might hurt us, but if bears come and attack you, you often carry super high-powered pepper spray instead of a gun.
Yep, and then you spray it in their eyes.
So pepper can make your eyes burn and your nose sneeze, but it also ends up making your food taste pretty good.
Yep. Delicious. You Must Know Everything was produced by me, Rasa Smith, and him, Jeremy Smith. And the amazing music was by Furniture. Please rate, review, and share the show. And please tune in next time for everything you need to know.